SME as a sector is on a growth trajectory, it is also facing several new challenges on the way. So, efficient human resources management is one such daunting task. Uh, uh, while uh, uh, while till few years back, HR management was limited to the big corporate houses and MNC today, it has become important in the small and medium-sized organizations too. There is a phenomenal growth in the HR practice in the SME sector, which increase in the number of the employees and also the consequent need for more efficient employee management to achieve the organization goals. In fact, now HR policies are customized to suit the requirement of this sector and the challenges faced by it on the HR management front. This webinar will help us find out the scope and the prospects of human resource management in the small industries. So in the session today, I cordially invite Dr. Abhay Anand Valvekar to understand the people management in the pharmaceutical industry. I welcome Dr. Valvekar. He is a quality and compliance management professional with 35 years of experience in quality control, quality assurance, quality management systems, self-inspection and internal audit, GMP training. He has also worked with the various organizations, Ellis Chemical Industry in Nairobi, Kenya, Quest Care Limited in Nairobi, Kenya. He was the Executive Director of Operations at Caraco Pharmaceutical Laboratories, that is a part of Sun Pharmaceutical in Detroit, Miami, USA, as an Associate Director. He is consulted for sharing professional experience with upcoming pharmacists, SGMP, operations, GLP, quality control, quality assurance, and regulatory compliances. Good afternoon, Dr. Valvekar, and I cordially welcome you to this forum. So to start with, the first question is, sir, what are the different kind of people, that is the type and organization and age that you hire in the pharmaceutical industry? Dr. Valvekar, please.
Thanks for this question and thanks for the introduction. Let us see basically the basic core objective of pharma is to produce the quality drugs, and quality is the basic pivotal point for the all activities. And when we talk about the work team or workforce, then it should be with the quality mindset, and they should be always equipped and ready to deliver the quality, and that is their main objective of work. Now when we talk about the quality systems, then in totality, we as per the US FDA, we can talk about, we have to build quality through the materials, through the production activities, then during the packaging and labeling activities, with help of qualified facility and qualified equipments, and ultimately putting the laboratory control over the quality of the product. Now, to work with all these facets, we require different departments at the factory. Then there are some 3 levels we can consider. One is the technical, one is the semi-technical, which is the service department to the main core team, and then non-technical, that means commercial team. When we talk about the different departments, the material department, production department, quality assurance, quality control, engineering department, and supported by non-technical HR department, business development department, supporting technical, techno-commercial, project department, and technically support from the R&D department, which is inevitable for any pharma industry. Now, first operation starts with the material, then warehouse, likewise where the material is input and material output is controlled with the quality. Qualification for that person is MBA or material management basic course into that. He may be commerce person also, but basically his experience in material management is preferable. He should be aware of the handling the SAP systems, likewise entrepreneur systems, he should be able to aware for that, which execute the systematic material control. Then during for the production team, certainly basic pharmacy education is very much required. And as per the responsibilities, the experience is the additional requirement, which is very well defined into the regulatory requirements also. For the quality, again, basic highest degree in science, preferably pharmaceutical background is also required. And then for the quality control, this analytical expertise, the person is having analytical expertise in or biological section, biological analytical section. Nowadays, packaging development and packaging requirements are also so critical. That means packaging expertise is also required. Then we talk about the engineering, certain supporting a service department, but it is the core department. Then particularly mechanical or civil or electrical engineering requirements are there. Graduate or postgraduate is preferable in that. Then certain specific expert people are required, like as boiler inspection, HVAC inspection, then safety, health, environment control people, which is normally coming under the engineering department. And nowadays the IT department, some organizations make it as a part of their engineering department or a different IT cell is developed. But these are again the technical people. Then regulatory department, again these are the pharmacy people are required here and experienced people are required. With the additional patent proprietary act knowledge for is required for that. Then comes to the project department. Again, project department is the extension of the engineering department with the some basic production knowledge. Again, these technical people are required here. Finance, as the basic standard as per the organization requirement, the finance people from the commerce with higher qualification in the management of the finance. These are the basic departments, and particularly we talk about the levels. When we talk about the small scale industry or the medium scale industry, the total top management, the highest management is either directors or managing directors or CEOs are there. Then certainly the top decision making team, like which comprise of the VPs or senior VPs are there. Then the general managers who are supporting or they're working under them. And particularly when we talk about the pharmaceutical at the different locations, we need the plant heads which are equivalent and directly reporting to the senior most vice president team. Then at the plant level, plant head is the total controlling authority there. His technical, non-technical, all are reporting him. And then for the technical production head there, control warehouse, all other different departments are there. They comprise of the either assistant general managers or senior managers. Under them, each department have different functions. Based on the functions to head that section, then executives or senior officers are recruited, and with them actually working hand people, technician, chemists, pharmacists are working there, or analysts are there. Then technical operating people are there, lab assistant people, operators are there. With all these different layers of the people on team development is required, different depending on the volume, depending on your product basket, depending on your regulatory requirements, the size of the team varies accordingly. And in totality, any company cannot employ the total team of the workforce. Like with on the shop floor work, like with fixed term employees are there. In colloquial language, we call them casual workers. But these are also properly selected. Basic schooling education is required for them, and these people are identified, trained, hygienically checked, medically checked, and then they're employed on that. These are the fixed term employees. Depending on the workload or depending on the work requirement, objective requirement, they are employed accordingly. This type of workforce team is provided. Now, if you consider the ages, particularly higher levels, people of around the 40 to 35 age is preferred, be considering their experience, their maturity, decision making capabilities. Middle class, which they have worked on the shop floor, but they are entering into managerial category. And then junior levels, 2-3 years experience. Well, when we talk correlate with them, the officers and the executives, about 7 to 8 years experience, they are prepared. And fresh graduates or some training having 1 or 2 years experience, these are the fresh people they are taken. There's likewise it is divided into different levels of the people. Accordingly, this total team at the medium scale or small scale organization is formed.
Now, doing this diversity, how do we manage the different needs? Like, for example, if we say women constitute are slowly and gradually constituting a major part of the workforce,
Yes,
and
certainly.
also there are special needs like crutches to be provided to them, or if we talk about the current youth who are joining, of providing them with a sports club kind of a facility.
Yeah.
So the question is, doctor, how do we manage these different needs of the people that are joining the pharmacy?
Yeah. Particularly if you say legal viewpoint, this factory acts governs or put address all these requirements, which are with this all the workers or the benefited employees are protected by this law. But the by very virtue of our the design of our pharmaceutical working and the regulatory control, all the, and as with the basis of the GMP, GLP, the some of the basic requirements already inherited in our system. If you talk about the Factory Act, the health requirements, safety, welfare, then time working, working limitations, incentives, leaves, these are the different parameters legally described and regulated from the there. Now, if you talk about our company or like a pharmaceutical or medium scale, well run, well established company, as you said, right? Yes, we prefer ladies in packaging activities. They are very keen and they are very expert and sincere and obedient for that. And then the natural problem with the crash, because there are small kids and they're orphans. Then we have to take care for that. Law, if more than 30 ladies are there, then you have to provide the crash. But particularly considering barring this limit, if 2 or 3 ladies are also there which are senior and expert and very core value of the core value to the organization, certainly management creates the crash facility for 2-3 limited people also. Similarly, food is also very equally important. Normally, all other non-pharmaceutical companies, people bring their tiffin, they go outside, come ahead again and take their tiffin. But particularly, as a basic thumb rule, all the pharmaceutical companies provide food inside the factory. That means, by the way, people are not exposed to the external environment again. They get the good food, timely food, and if at all any additional requirements are there, these are catered by the organization. Then restrooms are there. Restroom by the law required, but in our system, any person who enters into the factory premises or working premises, he has to wash his hand, he has to change his clothes, and in particular some cases where potent molecules are handled or in injectable, the person is required to take the bath and change his dress and go inside. That means these are the type of hygienic systems are already built up in the system. Like the welfare systems are there, where annual gathering, we conduct the sport functions, then cultural programs are arranged with the family. Particularly when psychological analysis was done, and the people who work very late into the factory, the family members are always conscious and they're anxious what my person is doing in the factory. So for that reason, some of the organizations may arrange the family trips to the factory so that they get the insight of that working, what their kin and kins are working with, how they are working, how they are best facilitated, and that gives the relief from their home side also. Then particularly first aid is also required. There, in our pharmaceutical industry, particularly we are dealing with the very heavy machines, very fast run machines, different chemicals we are handling, and there are some casual incidences of first aid requirement are there. Then management point out, prepare some teams, point out some leaders for that. They provide the very scientific first aid training to them, and it is reiterated. That means it is rehearsed again and again.
So thanks, doctor, for your key insights that you have provided. So further, we would like to understand, doctor, that pharmaceutical companies have a very tough regulation for health of their workers, and they have some policies and best practices that are followed. Request you to kindly highlight some of the policies and practices that are followed in pharmaceutical company, doctor.
Yeah, well. Particularly again, to start with, we are again dealing with the drugs, and certainly drugs has some drugs are potent, some are mild, different physiological characteristics are with them, and our people are facing them, handling them. Therefore, particularly pharma industry has to be more careful towards their workforce. If you again go to the regulatory requirement, our factories that say during the employment and after the employment annually we have to check. But as a normal scenario, other industry other than pharma industries, they particularly do this medical checkup, but for the fulfillment of the regulatory requirement. But in pharma industry, really it is going very, very critically, because there are so many cases. The people are talented, okay, that they have been selected at all levels, but at the end of the day, when they are not fulfilling the medical checkup requirement, they have been rejected at all. So stringently we look at the employment over there. The particularly act says that you have to check for the complete systems like the circulatory system, pulmonary system, nervous system of the employee. Then blood analysis, which will indicate the diabetic, and then urine samples are also checked. BP is also checked. Whereas skin diseases are also particularly checked. Then contagious diseases. Vision is also particularly checked for that. Then hearing, because we have to work under the very heavy operating machines, hearing aid is also need to be very sound. And then nowadays HIV is also checked with the people. Like these are the basic tests performed very stringently with the registered medical practitioner, and that's to say this is the not accepted by the individually performed medical test. It is a company recommended institutes or laboratories. Every employee has to perform the test. After this completed test, then his employment is cleared, and then he is appointed. And after following next year, again some of the critical tests, likewise his blood, ECG, blood checkup, then X-ray, all the critical things are there. By the way, it is ensured that his all earlier reported reports are matching and they are not deviated from the requirement. So likewise, these things are there. But then we talk about the pharma, nowadays we are dealing with the very potent molecules and very highly effective molecules. Likewise, we take these drugs for the healing of the patient, but simultaneously it creates the health hazard to the people who are manufacturing or who are handling them to make the drugs. Then during this, suppose the poor communication is there, inadequate control is there, lack of training is there, then certainly this drug becomes a health hazard to the working people. Now for that reason, then safety data sheets are provided. Then poor communication, inadequate control, lack of training may cause the health hazard to the people. Therefore, people are taking care and properly trained to handle these materials. Along with that, then safety data sheets, then drug product information sheets are provided. Safe work practices person are trained on the safe work practices, along with the GMP, GLP, GCP things are there. And then self-protective behavior to avoid side effects is generated. Awareness for the self-protective behavior is created for that person. Now during this handling, we come across with the potent API, intermediates, solvents, chemicals, then catalysts, acids, bases. Such type of things are there which are really hazardous if proper precaution is not taken during handling them. If, for example, like penicillins and cephalosporins are the antibiotics, they create the allergic reactions if proper clothing are not wear, hand gloves are not wear, or masks are not wear during the handling of that, which may give the dermatitis or the asthmatic signs for that. And during handling this paper, because when we are handling the powder, the powder gets floated into the air, and that during the inhalation it settles into the lungs and skins, and then it creates the problem. Therefore your gowning procedures are provided, masking procedures are provided, hand washing systems are there, hygienic systems are provided over that. Along with that, similarly nowadays anti-cancer drugs and potent drugs are being handled. They are manufactured on a large scale. These are the cytotoxic or anti-neoplastic drugs are there. They actually kill the cells in the patient, but if they are not properly handled, they may prove dangerous to the person who are handling them. Then sulfochloronomides, which are used in the disinfectants, or the naphthoquinones, which are used for the vitamins. I guess vitamins, the final APIs are good for the health, but when we start with the working intermediates for them, they are very dangerous into that. So for that reason, different practices are implemented, different practices are followed. Likewise, if any spillage is happening, it is immediately cleaned. Then work area is always kept tidy. That means there is no crossover of the materials. Equipped, there is sufficient space to move around. Then people are having the hygienic system, hygienic habits like washing the hands, then using the hand gloves, then using the aprons. When if you are handling into the laboratory, you have to wear the coats and other thing. Every material is properly labeled. Then eye protection is provided. The environmental health and hygiene systems are trained upon, and they are properly taken care by the specific team for that. Then PPEs are used for the whenever we are getting exposed to this level, we are this PPE protective equipments are used. Then spill kits are, in case of spillage, as we discussed earlier, spill kits are there. The particularly the effluent of this potent materials also treated very scientifically. It is treated separately, neutralized, and then it is mixed with the normal potent. Likewise, these are the industrial practices are followed, and accordingly for the worker health, these checkups are annual checkups are there. Training is frequently given to the people, and then along with that the illness history of the every person is maintained. If any deviation is observed, again he has been then his management takes a decision to remove you from that work and go to the safest area. Then yearly checkup is also compulsory. If any deviation is there, as per the recommendation of the registered medical practitioner or doctor, the medicines are provided by the factory. He's given the medical leave as a benefit for that for him, and then according after completion of or getting cured completely, then he's allowed to rejoin the work. Then there is a SOPs are so set that if anything is there, like a simple cough or temperature is also there, he has to report to his supervisor, and accordingly the supervisor takes care. He keeps him away from the drug safety, and so that he is also protected from the hazardous exposure. Likewise, these are the different systems employed into the factory.
Thanks, Doctor. Thanks so very much for sharing the policies and the best practices that are followed. Now, moving ahead, we would like to understand some of the challenges that the pharmaceutical industry faces as far as people management is concerned. So, would you share your experience and would highlight on this topic, please, of what are the challenges that typically that are faced in people management area in the pharmaceutical industry, please?
Particularly when we talk about the well-established or upcoming organization also, but as we discussed the workforce requirement, but this team comprises of the technical people, experienced people are there, then trained people are there, and conscious and adaptive people are there. That means they are well experienced, they have gone through that, and they may be from the same organization or from the different organizations are there. Considering the background of this workforce characteristic, then organization faces one competitive challenges, emerging challenges, Then there are some recent challenges which are ongoing challenges are there, and then future some identified future challenges are there, and common recruitment, that means common dealing systems or dealing with the system, some challenges are there. So these 5 layers challenges can be discussed upon. Then, when we talk about the competitive challenges, particularly globalization is becoming the phenomenon for the development of pharmaceutical organization. As India is becoming a more exporter or pharma hub for the world, we have to consider for the globalization for that. Many of the organizations are intending for the exporting. They are becoming the exporting. Until if you have to grow in the business, you have to be global. You have to match the globalization for that. And certainly to meet the requirements of the globalization of activities, our workforce should be competent for to meet the challenges for that. Then always technology is also changing. Today the equipment what we have purchased, the software changes, the other operating change requirements are changes, then the applications are changing, then regulatory requirements are sometimes changing. The based on that, this changing technology, people should be well equipped, or they should be very competent to accept that change in very short time and match with that and continue the function. That means we have to intercept that changes into our system so promptly and so successfully. So for that, certainly we require a complete competent workforce for that. Then change management is there. Likewise, the multifaceted works are there, and as per the competency or the experience of the people are required to be removed from one section to another, or they have to be given double responsibility, or very multitask operations are there, they have to give. These are the challenges, and we have to make the people ready for that. Then diversity of the operations are also there. Likewise, now we can see that many small organizations during this COVID scenario, they turned their liquid manufacturing to the disinfectant manufacturing, sanitizer manufacturing. They converted their facilities and meet the requirement. It was the requirement of the time, and it was the requirement of the nation also. So accordingly, they changed, they diversified within the short span. Now who are successful, their team was successful, they were competitive to accept the change and made the changes into that. Then emerging challenges are there, like that people are, when we go with the globalization or go with the different technology, the people normally downline people, like this fixed term employee or the operator level people, they are not only the worker, they should be knowledgeable for that till until they will support. If you consider the manager or the supervisor also, they are not, they are training the people, they are monitoring the activities. But the people who are operators, they have the basic scientific knowledge is with them, but they are trained with the ongoing practices. But when they change in that, then we have to take, that becomes a difficult and task for the senior management to make them competent or in line with the current or modified practices for that. Then ethics at the workplace also there, we are facing regulatory requirements, and for that reason data integrity is the major problem. For that, people are habituated, particularly in the night shifts, we get very much accidents or very much overlapping or fastening the work, not attending, not writing the documents, particularly that these things are there. People try to tend or deviate from the ethics of the organization, so that is also very critical challenge for us. Then managing the managers, when we hire the talent, they are certainly very on the high profile people are there, certainly we have to fit them into our system. The people who are already old team is there, old nuts are there with us, we have to make them adaptable to accept this new leadership into that. That means managers becomes over the period, once they feel that okay, I have acquired the I am competent now, I can handle everything, I am the manager for sitting manager or chair manager. So such type of people becomes a challenge for the management. Then people are there, okay, some people are opportunistic, they get the work done from the people, or they find the opportunity and declare that that is done by him or a success. Actually they don't contribute to the success of the organization, but they claim that they have contributed for that, or sometimes they become a hurdle for the succession or achieving the targets for that. People, and particularly for the pharma industry, the different departments have to work. Suppose if you have to launch new product, then R&D is required. Particularly managing the managers is again critical for us, because the people who have gained the experience into the running organization, they feel that they become very complacent. Yes, I can do anything, I can manage the thing by sitting into the chair, I can order my people and get work done. But with the changing scenario, it is not acceptable. Particularly these people become problem or become harder when the new people are coming, or down the level people are upcoming, they are providing their capability to handle the situation. These people become the hurdle to them. Then particular teamwork culture in pharma organization, suppose taking the example of launching the new product is launched along with the teamwork of the R&D. Then this product development system are there, quality assurance is required, quality control is required, engineering departments are also required. Based on this, till and until all the teams are coming together, they make the plan, they follow the schedule, and then they go forward accordingly. But when this there is particular personal ego is there, in some cases we have to be very flexible to the situation, because whenever you are adopting new technology, you have to have different trials, you have to take the different trials. Some unprecedented incidents happen. Along with that, we have to go forward. Now, to take that challenge, teamwork is very essential. But some of the people, they don't cooperate and they don't satisfy the teamwork requirement, then this become the challenging for the management. Then workforce diversity is also, if you talk about the recent challenges, new inputs into the system, or like when we adopt any systems into that, or procedures are changed, or when we bring the new product from the outside, they would design the different systems, or at the state of the art systems are brought into that, then accordingly it is to be used. Particularly for that, like was earlier, the floors were cleaned with the simple mop and other thing. Now these floor cleaning vacuum cleaners are there. Along with that, detergent is also there, water is also there. But as per the regulatory requirement, you have to operate very particularly as per the system. People are not adaptive for that. These are the recent challenges. When we bring change into the system, we have to make the people adaptive for that. That is one thing. Likewise, now TQM concepts are very much implemented. The total quality management, it is involvement with the quality approach. It is required by the whole team, and this total quality management. Then only we can implement this concept over that. Then we have to bring all the team under the same philosophy, and then we have to implement that system. Nowadays we were making our specifications very liberal for that, because this were as per the regulatory. Like if you take the example, if tablet is to be manufactured, then SA for 90 to 110 was acceptable. The people were working, okay, 95 is also acceptable, 105 is also acceptable. But when we talk about the Six Sigma, very stringent requirement, now the our customer requirements are changing. So for that reason, we have to adopt that very precise operations for that, or very vigilant control over your operations. So for that reason, we have to train the people, and people has to born in the mind that our existence is along with that type of recent challenges are with the system. Future challenges are like that. Now we are becoming multifaceted. People, organizations are having different units at the different places in different states. Then we have to move our expert team from one place to another place. Then this workforce deployment at the other side becomes a challenge, and this is the going to be a future requirement, because we cannot have a separate team for the each site. At that time, your corporate team is there, that team works, or expert team from the one side to another side needs to be moved for that. Now this HR department has to be a relation manager. They cannot become only the technological manager. Now technologies are there, systems are computerized, so many systems are computerized, but still until human beings are human beings, HR department, interpersonal relations are equally important to maintain the harmony and to maintain the teamwork over that. Then in the current scenario, work from home system is emerging now. Now as a organization or as the management team, we have to adopt and we have to go with the systems which will be comfortable to the employees and the employer, and the work needs to go into that streamline. And when we talk about the common, likewise, recruitment problems are there, attrition challenges are there, salary increments are there, job satisfaction are there, training requirements are there. Particularly when we talk about the working in the pharma zones, likewise, earlier there were discrete area or remote areas we were having factories and their competition was not there. Now by government policy itself, pharma zones are created, and there are so many competitive organizations are along or are your neighbors over that. Then you have to retain your team. So it is a very critical challenge for the team now, so that they are not getting attracted, they are not tempted to leave the organization and go for the very small or small benefits also. That these are the different things are there. Now what people expect from us, or what is the points we need to consider, then particularly for the to bring the harmony or to make to contain the uniformity, to maintain the uniformity, the time and attendance tracking is required. Then scheduling of the systems or scheduling of the program is required. Rostering of the teams or rostering of the people or the key personnel is required. Then managing the absence, people are due, their absence are there, then who is habituated or who is the doing purposely, that we have to identify properly and treat as per the case of that person, we have to treat accordingly. Then employee self services are there. Likewise, now people are asking so many data, they are very cautious. Earlier we are not, only payment slip was within our hand and people were not asking for that. Nowadays all benefit, people are so conscious and they are so literate now, they ask for each and everything, they want to know, they want to understand their rights, so that it becomes our responsibility of the management to cater their requirements and to satisfy them. Then particularly people holiday trackings are there, this likewise work from home are there, or the traveling people are there, these habits are there, human nature has to be considered, and accordingly these challenges are to be met.
Thanks very much, Doctor, for detailing out the challenges and how we can overcome those problems in people management area and pharmaceutical industry. So, going ahead, we wish to understand from you what are some of the leadership development practices which are followed in pharmaceutical industry, and are the homegrown leaders or homegrown leadership talent more successful, or the lateral hires are more successful? So we would like you to share your observations and your thoughts, please.
Uh, Certainly now, if we talk about the again medium scale and small scale and well established organizations, this degree of looking into this requirement varies according to the nature or philosophy of the organization. But in totality, let us discuss first what are the different requirements to develop the leadership virtues in our system or into person. Likewise, if we talk about the virtues, particularly leader should be result oriented. Then he should have personal and professional ethics. Then he should have strong communication and interpersonal ethics for with him. Then team leading skills should be with him. Then strategic orientation, he should be aware of the strategies of the organization, and he should get his working and attitude or his results should get oriented with that strategies. Then mentoring a role as well as the coaching skills are required for that leader. Then he should be energetic, that means he should provide the best example of working. Then the financial acumen should be also there, where the company losses unnecessary expenses where they are occurring, he should follow and he should teach to the team. Then commercial acumen is also required, how it is affecting, why we need to work, why we do the overtime and complete that batch, and other things are there, why we fulfill the targets or commitments of the customer, that the commercial acumen should be there, and particularly he should have the vision for that. Then particularly to develop the leader, we need to identify them some potential into the people, we have to check the credentials of that person, then competencies of him, then if his experience or his proven or this is performance track record, his affinity towards the customer, that means working or inter team customers and colleagues with that, and particularly most importantly integrity of that, he has to decide. Now company has to decide whether to develop the leader, then whether we have to change his profile. That means certainly when we have to bring him from the normal manager to the leader, then certainly his profile change is required. Then his future is to be planned along with the mapping of all these things is required, like with what virtues we have seen, credential, competencies, his performance. Based on that, we have to plan his future for that. Then he has some hidden talents which is identified, then we have to give scope, uncover his talent and give the scope for his talent so that he become a good leader for us. Then particularly some academic to gain the knowledge, to gain the current state of the art information or developments in the science, then we have to provide him some academic support also, some training support also we have to provide him. Then we have to give him some experimental programs also we have to give. We have to give the opportunity for the growth, that means we have to indicate, we have to take his consent, we have to educate him, make him aware, and we have to offer him the growth opportunities, then only wholeheartedly he can contribute for that. Then he has to provide us the merit based work environment so that he can explore his capabilities, he can explore and achieve the targets for that. Then we have to foster his passion and performance. Then we have to make him aware of the accountability, we have to make him accountable for that so that he becomes conscious for his deliveries, he conscious become for his results. And certainly to become a good leader, he has to attain the respect from his team, and based on that he has to become the leader for that. Likewise, particularly to foster that and to continue with that, we have to have talent development program for that person. Then in some cases we have to offer the rewards and recognition by way of certification or appreciation in the team or appreciation in the program. Then some motivational things are also going to working. Likewise, if people are we load them with the day-to-day routine work also, but out of that with the extra work or going into the other department, taking the knowledge of the system, development of this organization, some decision makings also, these other things, that motivation should be created to get the involvement of that person. Then multidisciplinary background we have to provide him, we have to make him, he may be particularly expert in one particular area, but if he has to become the leader, we have to groom him as a leader. Then certainly he should be multifaceted, he should be aware of the all other supplementary services, what are the supplementary requirements are there, applications are also required. Then only we can have a potential grooming for that people. Now when we talk about and compare regarding the home grooming and the talent, imported talent for that, the home grooming is particularly applicable and acceptable when the traditional things are there or the established things are there. Certainly we can find out better people from the team, and then we can make them and make them leader. And certainly over the period like this 5 years or 6 or 10 years, people become obvious, and they the who has naturally hidden leadership qualities are there, certainly they come forward. The then management also can identify them, and certainly these internal leaders are also developed. But when we consider the total growth or total requirement or the global, if we talk about the globalization, the local people are not sufficient to meet the challenges and meet the requirements. Likewise for the new products, new technologies, or likewise now this digitalization is happening, we have to have some imported talent into that to bring into our system. And at that time, then the conflict between these grooming upcoming leaders which we are developing for the organization and which are coming from the outside with for the new system, then the organization has to maintain the balance over that. Likewise we have to protect the imported talent as well as the developed talent in the organization. So that becomes the very critical challenge or critical thinking process for the organization, and accordingly the leadership grooming has to be bring into the practice.
Thanks so very much, Doctor, for providing key insights for leadership from the leadership development perspective. So, moving ahead, to group these resources, the kind of training programs that we require, it requires a lot of focus and attention in designing such programs. So, we wish to understand from you what are the kind of training programs that are designed for the employees in the pharmaceutical industry.
Particularly when we talk about the training for the pharma industry, the training life cycle concept is there. That means from the entrance of that any employee or any candidate into the organization till he leaves, the training cycle continues, and that is the training life cycle approach or concept is executed into the pharma industry. Particularly when you talk about the training, basic requirement is that we have to make him understand about his roles and responsibilities and to perform as per the requirement of the organization and the job specific requirement to perform. So certainly with this training activities are performed, then particularly out of the training job knowledge we have to increase, then so likewise we have to have training programs with the local language. When we talk about the fixed term employee or the shop floor people are there, certainly they are not adaptive for the English language or other scientific language. So for that we have to make the training so compatible to them in the local language. Particular trainings are being imparted for the legal updates also, and the different systems are imparted, different types of trainings are there. When we take the different stages of the training, first the person is having the induction training. Person enters into the organization, before going or deputing him on the job, first he is imparted with the induction training. During the induction training, the policies, the philosophies of the organizations are trained to him. Then he is getting introduced to the different departments, then policies of the organization there. Some organizations give some basic GMP training for the people, some basic SOP or documentation system training is given. No doubt people may be experienced from the outside, but as the requirement of the organization to understand what are the local or domestic practices or the established practices are there, basic principle, philosophy or legal requirement may be the same, but the procedures may differ. That it is very much required that the person who enters, who may be experienced outside in other organization, he has to undergo the induction training and basic training program for that. Likewise, people are having that 40 years experience also, the higher post people are also, they are also required to be trained on the factory system or the organization system. Particularly during the audits, as a surprise, people ask for the audit of the managing director also. Sometimes it do happen because no doubt he is the very highest person in the organization, but he should be aware of the system of the organization. Then particularly as we are the technical people and these are the operational activities are there, then particular person is exposed to the on-job training. Here on-job trainings are there based on his job responsibilities, his designation, his work area. He has been assigned the specific learning on the SOPs, and along with that SOPs, because these are the operational activities are there, that he is deputed along with the expert person to work with him as an assistant, and then by going through the reading and operating the system, he gets the on-job training. That means actually how job is performed. Because if you go through line by line to the written procedure, sometimes it becomes difficult to understand, and the chronological sequences are not there properly established. So for that reason, the on-job training is there. Here one particular thing is done. It is not that only just giving the on-job training, but this person is again asked, likewise a machine is assembled, and again we ask him to disassemble, clean it, and again assemble it, and during that he is trained by his supervisor, and at that time such type of examination is taken, whether he is expert, he can perform the independently or not, and then certification is issued to him, yes, he can perform this job. Job wise certificate system is there. That means operator's certification is there, analyst certification is there, and till and until he is certified by the competent person, he is not authorized to perform that job. So to that extent, this training is confirmed and ensured. Then self-reading training is there. Because if any organization you see that once he start his working, there are other interdepartmental procedures are also there. Then he come across as and when he goes with the different operations, different activities, he come across with the different SOPs. At that time, self-reading system is developed. He has to go through that SOP, then some questionnaire is there, he has to answer that question, he has to establish that he understood that system, and by the self-reading system he is trained on that additional supporting procedures. Then classroom training is there. There are some activities or some incidences are there, new SOP is established. At that time, the all people or relevant or applicable people who are concerned with that operation or the document, they are gathered in one classroom with the aid of the blackboard or projector or any electronic media. The total training is given to the whole group. Then brainstorming is also being done, and then accordingly, once this training is completed, the assessment is for the training is done, and this classroom training is there. Because SOPs or documents are getting revised again and again. After revision, the applicable person should aware what is revised, what is newly added, or what is deleted from that system or procedure. It is to be known to that, and it is imparted or it is given, information is given through the way of the training for that. Now systems are there, so many technologies are coming up, matters are which may not be related at the function of that, but as the awareness to the total pharma working or the regulatory requirements or the current scenario into the market, people, some subject matter experts are brought into the organization, the scheduled programs are done, and external training is given to the people. Then due to this interaction, people get knowledge, they get awareness of the system. In some cases, when the organization is going to have the new product or new department, then this type of subject matter experts or the manufacturer themselves, machine manufacturers, equipment manufacturers, they do come, they conduct the training. Likewise, these are called as the external training. By way of giving the external training, people are made aware of that, and they are becoming knowledgeable for the activities what they want to perform further. Now there are incidental training are there. Likewise, during the operation, some accidents or some incidents may happen, some spillage is happening, wrong addition may happen, or some wrong operation is there, some breakage may happen due to the unattendance or unawareness, or maybe any natural, due to natural activities also may happen. That incidental training. Now one person have that the corrective action system is there, preventive action system is there, that becomes limited to that person. But to make aware of the whole group or whole the organization working on that same shop floor, that incidental trainings are conducted, and accordingly, that means it is a preventive training given to the all people. Such type of things may likely to happen. To take the preventive precaution, these people are trained for this incidental handling. Likewise, sometimes market complaints are also there. Then market complaints might have happened which are getting exposed after a long time. Something might have gone wrong which remains unattended. Then once these things have come up, then what are the type of market complaint we have received? All people, concerned people, are explained about that, why it has happened, how it has happened, so that coming forward or in coming future activities they become alert and such type of incidences are avoided. And particularly, likewise, as I said, that the life cycle approach is there. It is not that only once training is given, it is sufficient for that. Considering the human nature, again, the annual training is given. Refresher training is there. By the way, during the refresher training, what has happened in the organization for the last 1 year, how many market complaints were there, how many incidences are there, how many accidents have happened, how many new products we have done, or how many deviations we have happened. Like so many things are there which need to be informed to the people for their betterment and to avoid such incidents in the future. That refresher training is there annually, and then basic refresher GMP training, health safety trainings are there, safety trainings are there, and documentation practices trainings are there. The different types of trainings are performed, and people are always imparted training. They are keep fresh for the new knowledge, and this during this process, then it is not that because if you consider the total population of the that factory or that unit, about 300 400 people are there, a single person cannot handle that. We have to develop the trainers within ourselves, then train the trainer program is developed, and the prospective trainers are developed from our team, and they impart the training to the team. Then any training is not only mere training. After that, the effectiveness of training also evaluated by way of oral questioning, or by way of the question answering, writing the question. And then effectiveness of the training is required. There is benchmarking for that. If person is not scoring the score, or is not attaining the marks 80% or 70% as per the case decided, then again he is exposed for the retraining till until he understands, he attains that level of the understanding, he is retrained again, and then there an annual report of the each individual employee is prepared, and that is the annual report is performed. Based on that, his performance criteria is also established. Then if he is making mistakes, then his change of the department, change of the activities, management can decision. Now to aid the training activities, very huge activities, because individual employee has to have training, and their training records are these are being audited by the regulatory authorities also. Then nowadays softwares have developed, electronic systems are there. The softwares help to maintain the system, and then e-learning programs are there. People can go on the system and they can take the training, because time overlapping is there, time absentee to avoid absenteeism. Then the online trainings are also provided. The such type of training culture is maintained in every pharma industry.
Thanks very much, Doctor, for elaborating on all the training programs and how they are designed for the pharmaceutical industry.